Hey, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about the difference and the importance between reacting and responding. And at the end of this video, I'll share 3 ways you can be more at choice between these two. And so if you're following along with our T and Tao series, you'll know that there's a part of it where I will read Tao Te Ching and I'll react to it. Or I'll give my initial reaction, whatever's coming up. And I like to distinguish reaction from response, right? Or responding. And the reason why this is so important is because in our modern times, things are coming at us so quickly. And we are often led to reacting. And one of the biggest differences between responding and reacting is typically the speed in which something happens. Someone slams a door, I react to it. Like, oh, what was that? As opposed to a response tends to be more measured, tends to come with some amount of perspective, some amount of awareness, situational awareness, contextual awareness, and a little bit more, I'll say, intentionality to it. There's more of a considered way of engaging with whatever it is that's happening instead of just reacting to it. And the challenge is that in our modern day, reaction is how we have been wired. Whether it's the media or even on YouTube or whatever it is, there's a lot out there that wants us to react, that wants us to just do something, buy something, or go here, or go do that, or take some kind of call to action. And that's really where a lot of things are geared towards. And the challenge with this, or really the drawback to this, is that we can get into a rhythm where all we're doing is reacting to things. And that's basically how animals work. Animals are reactionary creatures. They don't really respond the way that humans seem to have the capacity and ability to. If you look at an animal and something happens in its environment, it's already doing whatever it is that it needs to do to harmonize, create safety, or kind of find its place in whatever new situation it's found itself in after whatever it is that created the reaction. And so it's a question for us as individuals, as humans. Do we want to allow our, let's say, base human mammal instincts to kind of take over and let that be the primary driver? Knowing that there are times when that instinctual reactionary part of us is extremely useful and very good to be sitting in front at times. But the question is really, do we want that to be always what is leading us? We can use the words really to give ourselves the trigger, or really the understanding or the awareness of where am I coming from. And again, I want to take away the good or bad of it. Right? It's not saying that reaction is good, and it's definitely not that it's bad either, nor is responding all the time a good or bad thing. Part of our dance with life is really our capacity and our level of mental acuity, let's say, or mental engagement to really be able to choose, right, which one it is that seems to be the most appropriate. And the way we get to that point to where we can really kind of ninja our way around and know what is the most appropriate response to whatever it is that's happening is through practice. With the context that our modern culture is very reactionary, we have to almost put in more effort to make sure that we are truly responding to things and not just reacting to them. So with that said, there's a lot more that can be said here, but I'll leave us with 3 ways to start redeveloping this muscle of responding, and maybe releasing ourselves from this constant dopamine reactionary kind of situation we find ourselves in. It's the reason why many of the things that we see, many things that are out there want us to react, is because typically when we react, we, not all the time, but we tend to put ourselves our own humanity at somewhat of a disadvantage. When I react, I tend to, not to say that emotions are bad, right? But I tend to react from an emotional place that can sometimes lead me to be a little bit too wobbly. Maybe I've overexposed myself. Maybe I'm having to course correct, right? And all this takes energy, right? All this takes time. It takes energy that could be better used to responding well to things. So, the three ways that I've found for myself that have really been useful, right, when it comes to developing this muscle of responding versus reacting. The first, and as cliche as this is, if you've heard this before, let this simply be a reminder and to know that it's talked about for a reason, which is to just take a breath. I see something online, I get a little angsty. My fingers start doing their thing, and all of a sudden it's like this thing just and the roller coaster starts rolling, right? So if we can develop the practice, and again, this will be practice, before we just start going on that road, we take a breath. We let that, whatever it is that's happening, whatever the emotions, the sensations, the energy, to maybe not necessarily to pass, right? But to let it equalize with whatever inner state you've got going on already, right? And let it meet each other with that breath, giving that energy that wants something, that wants action, giving it a moment of pause, right? Giving it a moment of breath to really see if that's something that you really want to send, or maybe not. Giving ourselves this little bit of a break. The second way that I found to develop my responding muscle, typically if I'm reacting to something, my mind goes into binaries. It goes into me and this other thing. Other thing must be bad because I'm good. Like, so it immediately creates this kind of me and this other kind of feeling. And it's very two. It's very like it's me versus this person, the situation, the world, whatever it is. So this next thing that I find really helps me is this typically works best after a breath. A lot of times the question is, well, then what? What do I do? Well, then I expand my awareness, right? And this is where I start bringing in my visual cues. Oh, there's the left side of me. There's the right side of me. I can bring my awareness that there's something behind me, right? That there is space. There's some kind of experience happening behind me that I cannot see. There's all this around me. I can even go into the ground. Oh, there's the ground underneath me. There's the sky above me. And what this does, it does something to the brain. It almost, I'll say it joggles the brain enough, that animal part of us that just wants to like do things. It joggles it enough to where it brings in more context, more awareness, and hopefully through that comes curiosity and perhaps empathy. There's that awareness of like, oh, there's a little bit more than this, tunnel vision, me versus them kind of thing that's happening right now. And what this can do is it gives us that opportunity to respond or to react. And this third step that I like to bring in is simply by asking, using our mental kind of bringing in this brain function that we got here, asking, am I responding or am I reacting? And sometimes even simply asking that question short circuits that animal instinct thing that just wants to like do things and solve problems and get from here to there. It almost short circuits that a little bit, just enough to where we can break out of that reactionary mindset and come into a place of responding. And maybe whatever happens after that could be the exact same action. We may send that message. The point is, are we developing the muscle of responding versus reacting? And if we are actually doing that, what we'll find is that the quality of interactions that we have in those heated moments when things are coming at us and people are asking things of us, people want us to react to whatever it is that they've got. being able to be the person in the room that takes a breath, takes a moment of chill, moment of zen, and from that place engages with whatever it is that's happening from a place of, let's say, thought and action. All right, kind of giving ourselves this opportunity to really assess and say, hey, am I just reacting to something? Am I reacting to something in a way that someone wants me to react in this particular way? Or am I in agency where I'm choosing to to do whatever it is I'm going to do, and I'm sure about it, right? I've gone through my mental checklist of this is actually what I want to be doing. I do actually want to send this message, or I do want to light this person up, or whatever it is that's happening in that moment. And remember, whatever is happening in that particular situation, or whatever ends up happening, it isn't as important as developing the muscle, right? Becoming more familiar with this more considered way of engaging with things and making decisions. So hopefully that was helpful. Stick around if you'd like more of this. Feel free to like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. It definitely lets me know that you're out there and that this is valuable stuff and to keep the conversations going. So I look forward to hearing how this was for you in the comments. Let me know, and I look forward to speaking and sharing with you again soon.